think about a person whose world is sort of spinning out of control and they're afraid of what's going on and it's not making sense, you as the family member become an anchor. And oftentimes we see this behavior a lot where the person with the disease doesn't want to be separated from their family member. So if I have that problem and Pete is my caregiver and I'm like this with Pete, what am I in essence telling him?
Don't leave.
Don't leave.
You don't feel safe without that person there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I feel better being close to this person because when everything else is spinning out of control, he's my anchor. So boy, I'm not going to let him out of my sight for a minute because when he leaves, then the confusion and the fear and all of this comes in and gets me. Okay. So when you look at that kind of behavior in the context of a person who's frightened because the world is spinning out of control, it makes some sense. Oh, she's not doing it to bug me. She's afraid. She feels insecure. So if you interpret that behavior, because behavior is communication. You know, as we talked about last week, language skills often become pretty impaired with people, or the ability to talk in these abstract concepts. If I really am a person with dementia, I can't go up to Pete and say, I'm afraid, but my behavior is going to tell him that. And, you know, this doesn't often take a rocket scientist to figure out why somebody might be doing that. So behavior is a way that folks communicate. And we need to begin to pay attention to that. The same thing if any of you have experienced your family member maybe asking you the same thing over and over and over again. I don't know if that's happening to anybody. But again, if you think about that, what are you giving the person when you answer the question 45 times?
Reassuring them.
Reassuring them. I'm hearing your voice. I'm not alone. You're here. If I can hear you talk, then I'm not as afraid. So again, when you look at that behavior from that context, it's not as annoying. You know, maybe you need to give them what they want. I had a lady that, this is like 3 or 4 years ago when I taught this class, she took care of her father-in-law, and he liked to go with her in the car when she went around to run errands. He found it fun to be in the car. But they'd get in the car and he'd ask her the same thing 45 times. So, we had this conversation. It's like, well, maybe what he wants is your voice. So she started singing to him in the car. Stopped it just like that. She gave him what he wanted, and he couldn't ask for it. And this was an abstract concept to him. But, she started singing to him, and that worked.